Hello everyone, myself Dr. Rajesh Zavade. Today I am going to discuss about the first topic, and that is general principles of a contract. So here in this lecture we are going to study about the basic concepts involved under the contract. So nature of a contract, offer and acceptance, capacity of parties, pre-consent, consideration, legality of object, performance of contract, discharge of contract, remedies of breach of contract. So all these points we are going to cover in the coming lectures. In this today's lecture we are going to talk about various definition. So here when we talk about Indian Contract Act is the most important part of the mercantile law or business law. It affects every person and his actions with the other people. We enter into several contracts in our daily life. For example, when we travel by bus or train, go to a hotel and eat something or purchase something for cash or on credit, all these are contracts. These contracts create legal rights and obligations between the parties. The law of contract is mainly concerned with the enforcement of such rights and obligations. The Indian Contract Act came into force from 1st September 1872. The Act mostly deals with the general principles governing the contracts, general contracts and the special contract. The first part deals with the general principles, while the second part deals with certain special kinds of contracts. That is contract of indemnity, contract of guarantee, bailment, pledge and agency. So here the definition part is also very important. The Indian Contract Act section 2 subclause H defines a contract as an agreement enforceable by law. So according to section 2 subclause H, a contract is defined as an agreement enforceable by law. Now we'll see about agreement. What is an agreement? According to section 2 subclause E, agreement means every promise or set of promises forming consideration to each other. That means in every promise there should be a consideration, or in every contract there should be a consideration. Now we'll see about promise. What is promise? According to section 2 subclause B, describe or defines a concept of promise. A proposal when accepted becomes a promise. So here it is very essential to understand the promise, the agreement and the contract. So the contract is defined as an agreement enforceable by law. So the one condition is very important, that is every agreement, the agreement which is enforceable by law will be only a contract. All the agreements are not contract, but the agreement which are enforceable by laws are only a contract. Now we'll talk about offer. According to section 2 subclause A, when one person signifies to another his willingness to do or to abstain from doing anything with a view to obtaining assent of that other to such act or abstinence, he is said to make a proposal. That means here suppose one person conveys or shows to another person his willingness, his will or wish to enter into a contract. What kind of contract? To do something or not to do something. With a view means with an intention, with an object, he is giving his assent or consent that to do or not to do that particular thing. So these all are acts under the contract. Then if these conditions are fulfilled, then it is called as a proposal. So he is said to make a proposal. So what is this agreement? So agreement is nothing but an offer plus acceptance is equal to an agreement. In every agreement or in every contract there should be a consideration. Under law it is said to be a consensus ad idem. This is one Latin term. According to section 13, meeting of minds or identify of minds or receiving the same thing in same sense at the same time. So here, if offerer is making offer and acceptor is giving his acceptance, in this particular agreement or contract, there should be a consideration. That consideration may be in the form of cash or any goods, etc. So consideration should be there in every agreement or in every contract. There are definition of contract also. According to Salmond, a contract is an agreement creating and defining obligations between the parties. According to Pollock Friedrich, every agreement and promise enforceable by law is a contract. According to William Anson, a contract is a legally binding agreement between two or more persons by which rights are acquired by one or more to acts or forbearance on the part of others. So all these definitions are very important. Thus, an agreement becomes a contract when it is enforceable at law. When a proposal is accepted, it becomes an agreement. Such an agreement which can be enforced through the court of law is a contract. So what is now contract? So contract is nothing but agreement plus legal enforcement is equal to a contract. So all agreements are contracts, but all contracts are not agreements. So here contract means what? Agreements plus enforceability before law is equal to contract. That means the agreement which are enforceable by law will be only treated as a contract. Now we'll see section 10 of Indian Contract Act. There are essential elements of a valid contract. First, there should be an offer and acceptance. Second, there should be an intention to create legal relationship. Third, consensus ad idem, that is the same thing in the same manner. Both the parties should be voluntarily ready to perform their obligation. Fourth is consideration. Fifth is capacity to contract. Sixth is free consent. Seventh is legally or legality of an object. 8. Possibility of performance. 9. Writing and registration. So all these are essential elements of a valid contract. Dear students, we need to understand difference between contract and valid contract. The contract which are enforceable by law are treated as a valid contract. So to validate that contract or to make legal contract, these are the essential points or elements. So here, essentials of a valid contract. First essential element is intention to create a legal relationship. So here is very important case. Balfour versus Balfour. In this particular case, the fact of the case is like this. The defendant and his wife were enjoying live in England. When the defendant was due to return to Ceylon, where he was employed, his wife was advised, by reason of her health, to remain in England. The defendant agreed to send her amount of $30 per month for maintenance. He sent the amount for some time, but afterwards, differences arose which resulted in their separation, and allowances fell into arrears. Wife filed a suit, that is the case, against her husband for the amount of arrears. Whether she should get the amount? What will be your answer? So here we need to understand that in the case of Balfour versus Balfour, she is entitled to get the amount. As requirement of a valid contract, there should be a valid consent. Both are equally entitled to ask. Then the wife is also entitled to get the remedy and the compensation from her husband. But there was no intention to enter into a contract on the husband's side, and that's why that may be denied. Second consideration is what? Consideration is something in return of something. In Chinnaya versus Ramaya, this is also very famous case. An old lady by deed of gift made over certain property to her daughter D, under the direction that she should pay her aunt, sister of the old lady, a certain sum of money annually. The same day, D entered into an agreement with P to pay her the agreed amount. Later, D refused to pay the amount of the plea that no consideration had moved from P to D. Whether P is entitled to the sum? So here the rule is this, that in a contract there should be a consideration, something in return of something. So here if you are talking about consideration, so if the party is eligible to get the consideration, then only they will get the consideration. Next point is capacity to contract. This point is also very important. In the case of Mohore Bibi versus Dharamdas Ghosh, in this case, a minor mortgaged his house in favor of a money lender to secure a loan of rupees 20,000, out of which the mortgagee paid the minor a sum of rupees 800. Subsequently, the minor sued for setting aside the mortgage, stating that he was underage when he executed the mortgage. Whether money lender is entitled to the sum? So here, in this particular case, court held that contract with minor persons are void, that will not be enforceable by law. So here very important thing is that when parties are entering into a contract, both the parties should be competent, capable to understand the terms and the condition. Their appropriate age should be there. Both are equally willing to enter into a contract. So all these things are very essential. So capacity to contract is one essential of a valid contract. Next is essential of a valid contract, that is free consent. Free consent is very important. Without free consent, there will not be a contract. The consent should not be obtained by using force, undue influence, etc. So dear students, if we are talking about the essential element of a contract, we need to understand the contract which fulfills all the essential element of a valid contract is enforceable in the court of law. Such contract is termed as a valid contract. It creates legal rights and obligations between the parties. What are the void contracts? An agreement which is not enforceable at law may be termed as void contract. It is a contract without any legal effect. There are other essential part also. Enforcement should be there. Then express contract or express willingness should be there while entering into a contract. There are types of a contract also. So these things are very important. Next is essentials of valid contract. Under that, legality of object. The object of the contract should be legally enforceable by law. So if the object is illegal, then that will not be enforceable by law, and that's why that will not be a contract under the eyes of law. Next is impossibility of performance. So here, if the contract is impossible to perform, then that will be also treated as invalid contract, or the contract which will not be enforceable by law. So here, suppose A states B, I will put life into the death body of your wife for 1 lakh rupees. Whether it can be a contract? So obviously answer is no, because the nature of a contract is impossible. So it will not be possible to perform, and that's why this is invalid or voidable contract, or void contract, invalid contract. I hope you have understood all these things. In the next lecture, we will continue essentials of a valid contract only. Thank you. Thank you.